Hello friends, welcome back to Creative Aids International. I've been having some questions on this particular style of turban that I'm going to make today, although it's not my usual type of turban. I'm not a fan of this design, but when I finished making it, I loved it. So I'm going to be explaining the turban to you. So first of all, we have to talk about the type of fabric that we need to use for this turban. The fabric that you have to use for this turban must be extremely stretchy, very soft, stretchy. I've never seen anyone wearing this turban where they use any um, hard or strong material. So the material has to be very stretchy. Material like yori yori, like polo lining, all those materials are good for this design. So first of all, we need to get at least 30 inches long of fabric, and then we need on a fold you should get at least let me say 30 as well, so that when you fold you get like 15. So straight up, like, okay, let's just say 30 by 30 is perfect, so that when you fold you will get 15. So 30 by 30 is perfect for this. Okay, so you have to fold it into two. You cannot do this design without folding the material into two. So you have to fold it into two, because everything you need to do is going to be in between the two fold. So you can see that at the beginning what I did was to start sewing, and I started sewing from like 1.5 inch inward. So that 1.5 inch inward is going to form the base for me. So when I finish sewing this 1.5 inch, I'll go ahead and sew another 1.5 inch. So this is the first 1.5 inch as the base. I will sew another 1.5 inch as the distance, and then after that I will show you what next you need to do. So for every sewing that I'm doing, I'm actually using measurement for it, so that there can be some level of consistency with the size that I am using. So we sew another distance of 1.5 inch. Okay, so another thing I need to use for this work or this design is that boning. You know, I don't know what else they call it, but it's boning that we call it. Boning, the so that thing they used to create corset. Okay, so boning, that boning that you will use, let it be the boning that you can sew. This is the boning. They call the boning sewable boning. That is boning that you can sew. There are other types of boning that you cannot sew. So it's the sewable boning you should use. So to do it, we open up the material, place the boning, close it, and then you sew. Don't sew on the boning, but for the beginning, top stitch the boning small, just like that, and then shift your needle and now sew by the side, making sure that your sewing is not going to touch the boning, because this boning has to be able to move freely. So that is why your sewing should not touch it. Your sewing should not touch it. So you have to place it in a way that you can um move it. So but that first top stitch we did on it was for us to be able to keep it in place, so that it will not just be moving when you do not want it to move. So that was the reason we did the first top stitching on the boning, and that is what we will be doing for all of the processes for the boning we would be fixing. So we are going to continue sewing a part of it, and then we leave the remaining part without sewing. And one other thing is that when you want to sew, ensure that you move inward to sew. Don't just sew from the beginning, because in short, this video contains a lot. I don't When you watch to the end, you will see all you need to do, especially concerning the boning that is going to be excess, concerning how you are going to raise it all. So please stay tuned. So after fixing the boning, we take another distance of 1.5 inch. We take another distance of 1.5 inch. After that distance of 1.5 inch, we go again and fix another boning. We take another distance of 1.5 inch again, and that is how we are going to continue until we get to the very end of the length that we want to use. So if you fix at least 5 boning, is okay, or you can even fix 4, is perfect. So you don't need to go all the way to fix up to 10 boning, or 6 or 5 maximum is perfect. All right. So right now, after doing everything, we have to start pushing it. You see the way I'm pushing it now? When you push it like that, that's what will make it to push up. That's what will make it to rise up. That's what will raise that part. So when you push any part, anyone you finish pushing, you will stick it down. You can just use needle and thread to sew down instead of using the sewing machine, but I just use the sewing machine. But needle and thread is perfect, because even the part you are sewing now, you are not yet sure that you will need all of that part. So that is why needle and thread will just be the best option when you finish sewing everything, before you know the part that you are not going to use. But it is important that as you push, you must tack it down. You cannot just push and leave it. Everyone you push, you will tack it down, push, tack it down, so that it will stay in that position until you are ready to you see it now, until you are ready to give it a final swing. And this is the reason I said that the material you want to use must be extremely soft, flexible. You can't use something like satin, for instance, for this work. It has to be something very soft. So like polo lining is soft, but if you are going to work with polo lining, there's something I noticed with polo lining. If your needle is big, if your needle is big, it's going to start tearing your sewing, to be putting hole in it as you sew. But if you are going to use polo lining, change your needle to like 16. That is the size of your needle, to like 16. It will not tear, but anything less, more than 16, is going to tear. So it has to be soft, so that when you are pushing, it will be able to come up. All right, so this is how we push, and we have to push the whole boning that we put inside. This is the reason I said you have to ensure that you don't sew on the boning, except for the beginning. And the reason we are sewing the beginning is so that when we are now pushing it, it will not be moving, it will be stuck to one place, it will be able to stick to one position. So that's why you have to sew the beginning. And then when you now finish pushing, you also have to sew the ending, so that you are sure that it's going to take the position. You see, now that's just how this thing works. All right, I hope you watched. If you did not understand it very well, I will advise that you watch the video again. Remember, I said your material has to be on a fold. It's because of the fold that you'll be able to have this space that the boning is entering. Okay, so if it's not on a fold, you will not be able to have the space that the boning is entering, and you will not be able to push the boning as well. So this is how we do this work, and that will just be all for today's training. I would like that you watch to the very end. Even when it comes to closing it, is very technical for you to close. If you are not careful, you might not be able to close it well, because you have to ensure that all the boning, they are facing one direction. We don't just go ahead and sew. And remember, I said it has to be a sewable boning that you are using, because if it's not sewable boning, you will not be able to close it. And also, you have to watch this video to the end to enable you see what to do to the excess boning at the edge, and how to make sure that this excess boning will not be causing some form of inconveniences on the head, as your client will wear it, or even as you would wear it. So please watch the video to the very end. If there be any questions that you think you would like to ask, drop it on the comment section. Once I see it, I will respond to it. You can trust me on that. Thank you very much.